It's Christine Wilson and Saphira Galoob, and you'll thank us later. Tune in every week and hang out with us because we're a lot of fun.
And no topics off the record, we decided. We are open to talking about everything together with a bit of a sense of humor, a lot of self-forgiveness, a lot of grace, and always being wiser on the other end. Bring it on, girls and boys.
You know what? You'll thank me later that I'm telling you about this. You'll thank me. They're going to hate us, Saphira. It's going to be nuts. Happy Thursday morning, everyone. How are you guys? Oh, good to see you. I spent the other day trying to convince Ronan that I had this really great idea for a college essay. And basically, the idea is that he would have ChatGPT interview him. And based on each answer, it would come up with the next question. And so all of his answers would be his own personal writing, but ChatGPT would be the one asking him the questions. So I was like, it's so great because it'll give the college admissions people a real insight into who you are. And it also gives technology and kind of the fun spin of like, what does AI think is interesting? And he was not buying it. So then I went and I basically got on ChatGPT and I had it do it with me as though I were writing the college essay. And it's so interesting because I actually wrote my college essay on my back surgery that I had when I was just turned 13 and about how hard that was and all the things and my essay was terrible. I mean, I'd be mortified to read it to you all right now. It was very dramatic. Like I opened my eyes and could see the lights above me on the surgery table and blah, blah. I mean, it was just so god awful. And when ChatGPT interviewed me, the first thing it asked me was to talk about a defining moment in my life. And I went to the surgery place and talked about it. And it ended up being this really, really cool interview with ChatGPT all about how it's changed my life for the good, for the bad. And the other thing is it was super cathartic. When I got to the end, I was like, oh, I just feel like I had a therapy session with ChatGPT about this like big point in my life. So long story short,
I just want to know, did ChatGPT send you a bill for therapists?
No, it's way cheaper. And then I don't have to worry about insurance. But the best part was, I think it kind of did show him that maybe it could be a good idea for an essay. I don't know. I mean, anything I suggest is a bad idea, but we'll see. But then it got me thinking, what would ChatGPT ask us? So I just said to ChatGPT, you know a lot about our podcast since I feed all of our transcripts to you and all that stuff. So I said, why don't you make some questions for me, Saphira, Courtney, and Nicole? And some of them could be really stupid. I'm not 100% sure what we have here. So I've just put them all in a document. I don't really know what's coming in these questions, but I asked Courtney and Nicole to take turns asking them, and then they're going to jump in and answer some that are applicable. I know I saw there was one that said you wake up in 1998, and I realized that Courtney and Nicole probably couldn't answer that one, but I think they can answer plenty of others.
I'm a little afraid of this podcast, I would just like to say for the record.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm hoping that the first question goes to you, so we'll see. All right, Courtney and Nicole, you guys can take turns however you want to. You guys are playing ChatGPT in this scenario.
Well, we'll start off with question number 1. Okay, so give me your 30-second elevator pitch if you were to explain You'll Thank Us Later to a stranger. And I want to hear from both of you what your versions would be. I'm going to set a timer because I want this to truly be 30 seconds for you guys. Okay,
All right.
Start.
Saphira, you go first. Then I can cheat off of you.
Yeah, we'll start with Saphira, and your time starts now.
You'll Thank Us Later is the favorite part of my day, and I know it will be the favorite part of your day because it highlights 2 loving, lovely women who adore each other, walk through one another's lives, all the ups, downs, and in-betweens of being fast-paced entrepreneurs, always looking for ways to be our better, happier selves. And we want to do things in a way that our learning becomes your experience.
That was it?
Beep. I feel like you should have it like
That was very good.
Edited a bit.
It was close because I said our learning becomes And that's when I was cut off. So I was really, really close.
You were close.
You were?
Had I just spoken at my natural rate, I probably could have gotten
Yeah.
Yes.
that.
That was
I say anything that made any sense because it's, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So here's the funny part. I actually do this all the time. Like I literally will have a waitress come up to me and I'll be like, yeah, so I have a podcast. And they're like, oh, what's it about? So I practice this often as I'm a very big self-promoter.
I have a lot to learn.
Christine, are you ready for your 30 seconds?
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. And your time starts now.
My friend Saphira and I have a podcast called You'll Thank Us Later, and we are mature women in our 40s and 50s that are talking to other women in our age group and younger women about all the things that we've done in our lives that we may have done right or we may have done wrong. So hopefully you can learn from our mistakes and maybe learn from the things that we think we've done well with a little bit of advice. We cover everything from our personal lives, parenting to career, and sometimes we're really
Time's
inappropriate.
up. You were both like right
Absolutely,
there.
we're the winner on that, Christine.
Because I do it all the time. No, I love it. I think we both had good ones. I love it.
Great.
Okay. I have the next question. Christine, why don't you go first for this one?
Okay.
If your podcast had a mascot, what would it be and why?
Oh, Lord. You know what's so funny is when we first conceptualized this podcast, I might have said like a cup of coffee and a glass of wine, which is not really a mascot. But now that I'm like, neither of us are barely drinking ever, the wine doesn't even make sense. A mascot. Oh God, Saphira, I might have to punch this over to you.
I got you, girl. I got you.
Okay, you do this. You
Okay.
do this one.
This one was so clear to me, but I had to actually look up what the actual personality was with this animal. So I think our mascot would be a peacock. But listen, this is I looked up I literally said, what's the personality of a peacock? And it says outgoing, confident, and friendly. Peacocks are warm and entertaining, which can become dramatic under pressure. Motivated by recognition, applause, and fame. Beep, 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 beep. That's me. They live by the mantra, hey world, look at me. This may have been my Wikipedia page. I'm not sure. Imaginative and noisy, peacocks thrive when they can openly share their ideas and feelings.
Wow. Are you, Nicole, have you been attacked by a peacock?
Yeah, I have a phobia of peacocks. Like I'm literally terrified of them, like to this day. So when I said friends used to text me pictures of peacocks and I would throw my phone across the room. Like I cannot stand peacocks. And now it's like all large birds. So this was like, that's why I was shaking my head the whole time. Like it makes the description made sense, but
The description is so spot on. It's crazy. And you guys remember when I was trying to figure out our color palette, I used a peacock feathers as the inspiration.
They're beautiful birds. They're just that's a hard no for me.
Yeah,
I love that. Okay, make sure you earmark that description because I feel like we could work some of that into how we talk about our podcast because it's so great.
I couldn't believe it.
I love it. All right, Nicole, we promise we will never attack you with all of our, and by the way, the only pretty peacocks are males, so we're the ugly peacocks.
I mean, again, the description was spot on. It's just when I think of a peacock, it's not good stuff. So that's a me problem, and I'm okay with that. Okay, so with that in mind, let's move on to our next question. So I'll start with you, Christine, for this one. If you had to describe Saphira in 3 words, but one has to be a sillier word, what would they be?
Oh boy. Intelligent, statuesque, and fast talker. That's my silly one.
Yes. So Saphira, same question for you, but about Christine. So 3 words, but one has to be on the sillier
I
side.
don't know any silly word. I literally.
Or just give me your 3 then.
I think the one that you want to say that's silly is I'm obnoxious, but I take that as a compliment.
I would never say. Okay, I'll use the word pleasantly loquacious because
There you go.
okay, that's kind of a silly word, whatever.
Verbose.
I'm going to put, of course, I'm not even going to follow the rules. Wildly generous, and warm-hearted and optimistic.
Oh, love that. Oh, I got a lot of words.
I know. I'm not a rule follower.
Now I'm like, I want to add more words to yours.
No. I don't want. I liked my words. Don't change it. I liked that visual. Let's go with that.
I love
Okay.
Go with those.
All right.
Okay.
This next one's funny. I think it'll be interesting to hear your responses. You suddenly wake up and it's 1998 again. You have all your current knowledge. What's the first thing you do?
Okay, so first of all, I have to see how old I was in 1998. Bear with me 1 second. If you would have said 1988, I know what I was doing then. I graduated from high school.
Well, we could do that too.
Well,
Or choose your decade.
choose your decade.
1998, I would tell myself to go to class. I would be like, it's actually really interesting to learn. I would tell myself to go to class. I would also tell myself to get over the relationship that I was in. That was maybe not, I mean, I learned a lot from that relationship. So it's like I needed to go through it to learn it. But I might have told myself that he was actually in love with a different girl and not me. Would have been nice to know then because I was really kind of in the dark. And I would also tell myself to spend more time with my friends, like especially my friend Dana, my roommate at the time, in our sorority house instead of so much time at the stupid fraternity house where my boyfriend lived. Like, I think I needed to appreciate the things that ended up really mattering. You know what I mean? God, so selfish at that age. It's just so selfish. Yeah, that's it.
Saphira, what about you?
So I'm going to go with 1988 because I was a senior in high school and my son is a senior now as well. So I think oh my goodness, I also was very selfish, Christine. But I think I would have I'll kind of do it more in that time period. I think I would have been less quick to jettison things that did not seem to serve me immediately. So things that didn't appeal to me, I completely said, doesn't appeal to me, I'm moving on. Where I think there were certainly both, things I should have studied in college, relationships, friendship relationships. I didn't really have any boyfriends or anything for a really long time. But I really was, if I wasn't good at it, I mean, if my husband were to listen to this podcast, he'd say, what has changed? But I think I was kind of quick to dismiss things that I wasn't naturally really, really good at. And I didn't embrace challenges with the same type of curiosity that I do now.
Kind of interesting how that insecurity at that age of like, well, I can't immediately ski really well, so I'm just not going to ski. The things that things that you just, rather than pushing through it. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah. It's a selfish time. It's a selfish age, that those late teens, early 20s. And maybe just naturally you have to go through that. But okay, I'll shut up.
All right. Next question. This one should be fun. Okay. You both have to swap lives for a week. What's the first thing that you're going to change in each other's daily routine?
Oh, I'm canceling every solid core class. I'm not going to Orange Theory. I am not taking 3-mile walks. But I am going to enjoy someone cooking, bringing me coffee in bed, no dogs, the perfect closet. That's going to be fabulous. But all those solid core classes, they are done. There's no fucking way I'm going. I also am not going to open Microsoft and use Word or any of those Microsoft things. I'm going to move everything to the cloud. Her technology is going to drastically change. She's going to come back and be like, what the fuck happened?
Hey, can you come and do that now anyway, please?
It's a whole organizational change is the thing. We have to get 4 of you together to make those changes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That would be it because the rest of it all looks pretty fabulous. And I would really hope that it's the week that she's living in Sawyer. That would be ideal.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so Sarah, what would you change?
I would definitely get those damn dogs out of the bed.
Yes, good choice.
I would also make some sort of deal with Oj that his morning walk wasn't just by chance, but it was by conscription. And so for the rest of my life, Oj would be walking those dogs and I could sleep in as long as I fucking wanted.
Love it. I love it. I love it. You also, I can tell you something else you would change. You would not spend 2 to 3 hours a night watching Bravo.
Oh, I would be watching something, maybe not Bravo, but I can binge watch some shit. Do not confuse me with the average bear.
What kind of exercise are you forcing into my life? Solid core. That's where the solid core is gonna go. Ugh. And I mean, you guys, they were a client. That's so wrong of me to be saying publicly. Bleh. But that's such a hard class.
It is one of my favorite things to do every single day of the week. I feel like a rock star when I leave. I love it. So awesome. And it changed my body. So I'm not complaining.
No, it's good. I know it's good, but I don't like the pain. Maybe I'm still like I was back in 1998. Don't want to do the hard things. um, I love it.
have our next question. This one's fun. If you could invite any 3 fictional characters to be guests on You'll Thank Us Later, who would they be? And what's the topic of discussion?
Ooh, fictional.
Fictional. Does that have to be like,
Or it could just be who would they be and why? Could be TV, could be, books, could be TV shows, or excuse me, movies. Yeah.
Oh, you guys, I would have Rory and what's her name? The Gilmore Girls, Lorelai. I would have them on because I'd want to know how they were still interacting as a mom and daughter. And there was so much. I have such a bond and connection to those 2 characters because they were my COVID partners and I never knew them before COVID. And so I think a lot of people could look at the Gilmore Girls and be like, I mean, you could have like somebody really amazing as a guest, but they provided me such a level of comfort at such a hard time that I have a bond to Rory and Lorelai that is weird because there was so much to watch and so much comfort it brought me for such a long period of time. So those are 2.
well, and here's what I was going to say is I've got 1, and then I want Courtney and Nicole to answer this one.
Yes, I think so too. Let's put the hard
So
one
this is
on
going to be the funny thing about this is what I'm getting ready to say is going to really delineate the difference between our personalities. So
I'm not surprised.
I'm a complete Madam Secretary aficionado. I love Tia Leone. I love how capable she is and warm with her staff, but she's firm. She has this her character has this incredibly deep knowledge of her subject matter expertise, but she brings in a humanity. She has a kind of a low expectation of her trajectory, but she's super effective and communicating with integrity and, and persuasiveness. I love her relationship with her husband. He's such a cutie and such a smarty pants. And I love her humility as a mother and the difficulties that she goes through in raising children, both as a kind of leading figure in politics, but also kind of just the kind of how intense her position is relative to her responsibilities and kind of the guilt and balancing that as a mom.
I guess I need to watch Madam Secretary. I've never seen it. It sounds so good.
Oh, that is, I'm like, okay, how did she just say that? Okay, what did she just, and everything is always so like, I mean, when I have to negotiate something, it's the stupidest stuff. She's like basically solving world peace. And so, but I love that show.
I'm going to throw one more in the night, Courtney and Nicole, but I would totally want to have Tony Soprano on. I mean, he's a dick and he's a terrible human in so many ways, but what an interestingly complex character in so many ways. I don't even know what I'd ask him because I'd be afraid of like ending up dead at the end. But like if I knew I were safe, I think he'd be fascinating to talk to. So, all right, Courtney, Nicole, tell me.
Well, I have like a general idea in mind. So like the first place that my brain went was like someone like a Simone Biles or an Ilona Maher. Like I'm thinking of like women who not only are top of their sport and
But those are real people.
Okay, I didn't go character. I know I didn't go character. But I'm like, I don't know. That's from a guest perspective.
Yeah.
What they've gone through in terms of the dedication and drive for where they're at, but they've also built these big personal brands. Like they are, you can say their name in any home across the US or the world and people know who they are. And I think for You'll Thank Us Later, there's got to be a weight with that. How do you navigate that? What are the things that you come up with? Like, yeah, I totally did not go fictional, but that was the first thing that came into my brain. So,
well, I would die to talk to Ilona Maher. So
good.
cool.
I know you would.
Totally cool. Courtney, you got one?
So, mine are just because I'm a fangirl of all these movies and things. It's less, I guess, poetic and less people I look up to. But my favorite character of all time is Jack Torrance from The Shining. I would have him on. We'd share a drink, and I'd like to pick his brain about all the weird things that he's going through and doing, like murder his family.
You and your scary movies.
I love it.
Always
Yeah,
blows
I get
my
the chills
mind.
every time I see him. I watch that movie like, I don't know, once a quarter. I would have the Phantom from Phantom of the Opera because he's my all-time crush. And then I'd probably have this is another favorite movie. I just rewatched it recently, so it's top of mind. But Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Elizabeth Salander. I think her character is just phenomenal. But specifically in that movie, Rooney Mara, like I don't know, she's a complete badass. And I'd love to have those three people in a room.
Have you read the books?
No, I should. I'm such a movie person. I'm not such a reader. It's, love it or hate it, but like I should. I haven't.
The reason I was going to say she comes off a little different in the books.
Mm-hmm.
She's like much more. I mean, she's definitely on the spectrum. She's much more introverted and like there's like a real chaos within her personality that's very interesting. Like you can sort of see it in the movies, but it's a little more.
Yeah. I do want to read because I was so bummed that they stopped the movies that now I know that there are other series in the book, so I want to go back and finish it because I want to know what happens. So anyway.
And okay, I have a fictional one.
Okay.
This makes really good sense for You'll Thank Us Later. Okay, because again, like we talk about our like different like age groups all the time. Christine, we need Liza from Younger.
Oh yes,
that
was so good. Have you guys watched that, Courtney? Saphira?
No, I'm
watching on Netflix right now.
I'm gonna love it.
Yeah, so Courtney
loved it.
40-year-old woman who paused her career to take care of her kid. Kid's out of the house. She's going through divorce. So she fakes her age to get a job because no one will hire her because they're like, you've been out of work, blah, blah, blah. So she pretends to be like 26 to get a job. So then it's her navigating her life, pretending to be a 26-year-old when she's actually a 40-something with a daughter in college. And I just feel like there are so many interesting things that could come up if we were interviewing.
She's straddling these very different worlds all the time. And it's so funny, like how the actress, you'll look at her in a scene and she really, really comes off as 26. And then in a later scene, she really, really looks like a 40-year-old. And you're like just the way her mannerisms change and her confidence and posture and all these things. And you're like, oh my God, it's the same actress.
Well, you need to watch it.
Yeah, I really liked it. Netflix pushed it to me like a month ago and I was like, where have I been? Because I guess it came out forever ago.
So speaking of Netflix, our next question.
Oh, good.
Okay. So let's imagine that You'll Thank Us Later gets picked up by Netflix.
Ooh.
Who's going to play?
We can only hope.
And who's going to play Saphira? And let's answer for each other. So Christine, you answer for Saphira, and Saphira, you answer for Christine.
Okay, I want to hear what you guys think too.
I'm not good with actresses and people.
Well, everybody always said back in the 90s that I looked like Tori Spelling. And I know I look nothing like Tori Spelling now. I mean, like, we couldn't have gotten more different now, but that's the only doppelganger.
I have to say, pictures of you younger, I can totally see that.
And pictures of her in the 90s. Like, we had similar big eyes, like blonde hair. My hair was like yellowy blonde, so was hers. There was a sort of thing. But anyway, that's not what you asked me to just do. Anyway, Saphira. Shit, these are tough because I feel like I need some time to like Google search and like think it through.
I want to see how people have aged and see whether or not I'm okay with that.
Yeah, am I being nice?
What he looks like before I bring them on.
Oh, you know who would be really fun as you? What's her name? Now I can't think of her name.
I'll circle back, but I want to know.
Do you guys have any thoughts?
The Ring, and this is not a looks thing, but I think she could capture your mannerisms and your like confidence. But I think like a Tina Fey has your same like banter.
Ooh, yes.
And like you guys have a same rhythm of talking.
I mean, she's capable. She's, she's a little quirky. She definitely has her areas where she struggles, but she also has her areas where, she's on.
That would be a great one. I like that. All right, come back to me on that.
Okay.
Let's see. This one's interesting. If the two, this is sort of a quick one, but if the two of you were stranded on a desert island, who would lose their mind first, and how would it happen?
Oh, I'd lose my mind first. Saphira's much more resilient. She'd be like cooking something over a fire with like stuff she found, and I'd be gnawing on bark, ready to lose my mind. I don't know. I think we would both have a pretty tough time, but I think my dependence on electronics is much deeper than Saphira's.
Is there?
I don't know. Yeah, is there coffee? Yeah. Yeah, we were like on a Swiss Family Robinson ship where all sorts of amazing things Kate washed up with us. So we have like a tree.
Okay, got it. Yeah, as long as
Right.
those things are in place.
Magically. Yeah, I think. What do you think, Saphira? Do you think? I think I'd lose it first.
I don't know. I mean, I can go to off pretty quickly and stay that way for a pretty long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
I mean, when I was in Thailand, for example, and I did that boot camp, I mean, I was there by myself, and for hours I would just be like doing nothing, seeing nothing, saying nothing. And I'm not just saying I could be in solitary confinement. That's like, but being on an island where I could just hang out and for days, I was totally
Yeah.
because I was there by myself for 6 weeks.
What about Demi Moore for Saphira?
Yeah, I can see that.
Just popped into my head.
Yeah.
'Cause she's been around so much lately. All of a sudden, I was like, who's like a dark-haired woman that I've seen lately that's attractive? And I was like, oh yeah, Demi Moore. Yeah, I think she could be great. Sorry, change the subject. All right, what do we have next?
Okay, let's see. Okay, let's do if you had a life motto tattooed on your body, what would it say? And if you can, where would it be?
I actually know this because I've actually thought about it because I don't have any tattoos. And if I would, can I do two? Can I do
Yeah.
two? I mean, one would definitely be your inspiration. But now at where I'm in my life, it would say je décide, which means I decide. And I would actually put it where I could kind of see it every day, like inside here, so that like I could cover it. But when I because I do a lot of meditation, I do a lot of yoga, and there's a whole thing where when you're kind of bringing your hand to your heart, or even like through when you do your sun salutations, where you can kind of always see the inside of that wrist. And that would be a reminder to me that I am completely responsible. I'm completely in charge. It is my life to live. It is my win to take. Who's going to do it?
That's awesome. I have a tattoo on the inside of my wrist, and it is my lucky number, which was designed by my friend Isabel Rich. It's 920. And people ask me all the time, what is its significance and why the heck would you put it in such an important place? But that number has become like this grounding place for me and I'm sure it comes from like some borderline OCD behaviors and number fixation from being a child. So probably not the greatest roots, but I became fixated on that number as sort of like a symbol of goodness in the world, good things. If you put good things out there, good things come back to you. And so it became this thing, like I'd see it and it would be the world's way of saying to me like, okay, it's good. The world's good. You can do good things and good things will happen to you. So it kind of became a sense of hope. So it's not really a mantra or anything or a motto, but it is there. I look at it every day. I got it done on September 20th. I feel like there's something to that number that just means something to me. But I think if I just had something that was a motto, it would be live hard. I do think that there's just something to taking advantage of all that the world offers, and that I want to, not that I want to make it hard to live, but I want to live hard. I want to do it. I want to do it all. I want to see it all. I want to be all the way in it. And there's days where that's harder than others. And sometimes you do have to take a breather, but overall, yeah.
Love it. Okay, we have two more questions. So this is the second to last one. What's one thing that you've learned about yourself from doing this podcast that you didn't expect?
Oh, I've learned that I can, well, what have I learned? I mean, I knew that I could talk. I knew that I was good at talking. I've learned that I can open up and be vulnerable in this type of situation. That this, I mean, like there are days where people that I see out in public will say something like, "Oh, I really enjoyed that conversation you had about alcohol," and I'm like, "Oh my God, that's just out in the world." Like, yeah, they're not thousands of people listening to it yet, but it could. You know, I've put some very personal things out there. So I think I've learned that I can be vulnerable, um, and that it's okay. I think if we all I get protecting ourselves and that people can weaponize information and you have to be careful, but I also think if we were all a little bit more open and vulnerable, people wouldn't have to learn so many hard lessons over and over again. Um, so there is a balance, obviously. Like, I feel sorry for celebrities that put things out there publicly and then get damaged for it, because isn't that what we really want? We want to know who they really are. And so then why would we weaponize it? It seems so terrible. So I guess I've learned that I can be vulnerable in a big way.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, I think, for me, so because I don't have really a public image on social media, I wasn't really sure that I had anything to say.
Mm.
And I think that I have over the years, developed things that are really important to me, but they just haven't actually come out of my mouth before, or they haven't come out in a format or in a within a framework that I think define me. And so when I actually listen to the podcast, I learn a lot about Christine, but I actually learn a lot about myself. And I'll tell you that, in the recent podcast about kind of my professional growth, I've turned a corner even in the past few days, but it's almost because I've listened to that podcast several times, and it's kind of reminded me of how I'm built. And it's almost like I've been able to step out of my life and listen to my life looking in, that how, and it's not like it's somebody else's shit. It's my shit. Right. And that came from me. So it's not like I'm emulating or trying to imitate somebody else, but it really is me seeing myself through an objective lens and saying, do I like that person? Is that the person I want to be? Am I proud of that person? What can I learn from that person? And so it really has allowed me, and I'll tell you, what kind of gave me the image is I had reached out to a colleague, a friend of mine who, I'll just give a big shout out to Valerie. She's like one of the smartest women I know. She advises on financial portfolios. She's my family financial advisor forever. She's super, super capable. And she was talking to me about self-compassion. And she was saying that one of her kind of clients, who's a therapist, actually would be great to get this woman on. She's a PhD from Harvard, was teaching her how to have compassion with herself. And so this is the way it would manifest. She says, I want you to imagine that you're sitting on a couch and you are telling your story, the good, the bad, the ugly, all the contours of your experience, to a person in a chair sitting across from you on that couch. And then I want you to imagine the amount of compassion and love that person who adores and loves you, that person who knows you, that person who wants to see you land on your feet, that person who is rooting for you, that person who sees your best self, that person who's forgiving, all the attributes for which you reach out to a friend. And she said, then after you do that, I want you to imagine that the person sitting in that chair is you. It had the most profound, kind of, it washed over me really profoundly. And sometimes when I listen to our podcast, I do that with myself. I'm like, oh, I had forgotten that I think that way. Right. I mean, I learned a lot from you, Christine. Actually, girls, I learned a lot from you all as well. And I have a lot of humility, but I've actually learned a lot from listening. I've learned a lot about myself about listening to these podcasts unexpectedly.
I love listening to us. I said the other day, I was like, am I such a narcissist?
It's a good thing there's not a lot of video, because I don't think I would be like to look at us so much. I'm gonna self.
But I am
my aging self.
I sometimes am hanging on to hear what my answer is. I'm like, what did I say? And I generally am like, wow, that's really insightful. That was so good. I couldn't have come up with it right now. How did I think of that? Yeah. And I often am like, thank God Saphira gave me the clarity on that. Like, I feel like there's so much that I talk about and I'm like, I don't know how to break it down. And then you break it down and make it clear. So, and there's so many times that Courtney and Nicole have been like, I think where I'm like talking about insecurities and feeling older and they're very non-judgmental of me. And it makes me realize I'm expecting that younger women are looking at me as this old woman. And they're like, you guys have said so many times, like, no, like, be comfortable exploring yourself, be who you are. Like, your perspective back has been so helpful to be reflective and be less hard on myself. Because I'll be honest, when you're like 29, 30, you think you're going to be that age forever. It's a really weird thing how you see
dead by 35. Not that I thought I was going to kill myself. I just couldn't imagine my life after.
after. Yeah, you just think there's no way you'll ever be this older person that anyway. Long story short, the compassion you all showed to me when I make some of these comments is very wonderful to hear. So thank you.
I think it's one of those things, like, as a 29-year-old woman, it's motivating, or I don't even know the right word, but it's nice to know that, like, I think in your 20s you struggle a lot with, like, what's next? What's life supposed to be? What am I supposed to have figured out by now? And it's nice to know that, like, not that it doesn't,
We don't have it figured out
Right.
30 years later.
but that, like, it's okay to, like, feel that way, because it's just a theme of life, like, no matter who you are, you know?
That's so
Yeah,
true.
Nicole's
But
really because I didn't have a lot of women who I knew well enough to. I mean, I had my mom, but I just didn't know a lot of women particularly who had professional trajectories. I had a mentor, give her a shout out, Audie Ann, who was a lobbyist, dear friend, and she died last year. She was best friends to my aunt, and she was my absolute, like, I wanted to grow up and be her. But I didn't have a lot of people who were on professional trajectories and who had kind of personalities and were driven like me. So I didn't really have that as a mentor. And now I'm not saying that Nicole, Courtney, I'm not saying that Christine and I are mentors, but just like we are living our best life, we are professionally driven. I think we're fairly stable most of the time.
Oh, I just admitted to both of them how freaking unstable I am this week. So they are not going to buy that bullshit, but whatever. They
Functionally insane is what we are, Christine. Functionally insane.
Well, I also at 29, 30, whatever, I didn't have friends that were 20 years older than I was. And I consider Courtney and Nicole my friends. Yes, we have a work relationship, but I mean, they're my friends. I talk to them about very personal, very detailed things. I socialize with them. I have fun with them. I didn't have that. And I probably wouldn't have been very open-minded to it. I would have been like, what the frick am I going to do and hang out with a 40-something-year-old woman? Like, ugh, no.
50-something-year-old.
Yeah. So, I think it is interesting that you guys, I mean, you've been kind of forced into it, but hey, you have some older friends.
well, so I want to wrap up because I only have a few minutes left. Last question. It's cut from a similar cloth. So if you were what's one thing that you want people to take away from You'll Thank Us Later, even if they're only listening once?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing for me is they get to hear that we all are doing this life for the first time. Every single one of us. Every stage we're in, we've never done it before. We're trying to learn from the past. We're trying to learn and set ourselves up for a good life. But we're all figuring it out. And if we are more open with each other and communicate and share, then we really can help each other. What's good for me may not ever be something that works for either of you in your stages in your 30s and 40s, but at least you can reflect on some of the consequences that have happened for decisions I've made, and take it for what it is. So I think it's that we're all just pretty fallible figuring it out, and that's okay. We shouldn't beat ourselves up for that.
I'm going to actually build on that theme from Christine, which is, we're all doing this one life for the first time. And I'll say, and the life that you want to live, it is your responsibility to live it. And anything you want to do and anywhere you want to go and whomever you'd like to become, it is not just possible, but it is completely your responsibility and your opportunity to get.
Yeah. And sometimes the obstacles in front of you are more than someone else's, and it's going to be hard. And
sometimes obstacles are opportunities.
That's right. That is for sure. We've learned that recently, haven't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. Courtney and Nicole, what about you? What would you want someone to take away from this?
No, I think, Christine, you kind of hit it on the nail on the head for me, because that's something I actually find myself saying to my siblings often. Like, you have to remember that this is our parents' first time doing this too. I have a lot of bonus siblings, as I like to call them. And I think, there's always interesting dynamics that come up in my family. And I think that's something that it helps me navigate what I consider like frustrations with my family. Is like, this is the first time that we're all going through this, and having that compassion. And so I think it's with every topic that we talk about, it's like, again, like, what our experiences are going to be different from other people's. There's moments of relatability, but being able to put yourself in someone's shoes and realize that, like, just because you're my parent doesn't mean you know everything. No matter what you told me as a kid, like, you don't know everything, So it's like being able to navigate the world in that sense of, if I just had a little bit more of an open mind or compassion for other people and being able to put myself in that situation, I think our entire world could benefit from that. So I'm in the same boat as that, is just, realizing that this is everyone's first memorable trip around the sun. So
Yes. What about you, Courtney?
Yeah, I think you all have said it. I think for me, it would just be continuing to learn how to love yourself in all the different ways that shows up and how it changes over the years. And I think that in turns naturally to loving other people, and just remembering that nothing's that serious. Like, you can go through life with just allowing yourself to approach it in maybe a more casual way. And that might make everything feel a little bit less effortless and less serious. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. This was really fun. Thank you, ChatGPT, for your interview. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. I can't wait to go put peacocks everywhere for Nicole. I'm just gonna.
that'll be what makes me quit, Christine.
Okay, never
That's where I
mind.
draw the line.
No peacocks. All right. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye for now.